2024 has been the best year for humanity since 1989. And therefore, we need to look back to this very good year and pick some of the best moments, some of the protagonists, who were the MVPs, who get the Golden Globes, and who get the Golden, the Raspberry of the Year, or how it's called. I know that my co-host does not agree with my evaluation of 2024 as a great year, so let's also hear from him.
Hey, Nikos. Welcome back. Well, I'd say 2024 was the best year for ARC UK since 1989 in terms of our viewership. Although in one way it was the worst year in that we haven't had a lot of appearances by you, but we're finishing the year stronger. Of course, this is Festivus, and in Festivus you air your grievances. So it's a good thing that you start with a ridiculous statement that I could air my grievances about. No, in 2024, we have seen, first and foremost, we've seen the cultural fallout of October 7th and Israel's refusal to basically be slaughtered and not defend itself. And the world is demanding to get rid of the Jews. So if we say, and I know you've quoted Adam Mossoff on this, as have I, if you wondered what you'd be doing in 1930s Germany, you're doing it now. 1930s Germany is not a good time to look upon, and neither is this. Maybe we're not. Maybe it won't be the worst year when we look at it next year, when we look backwards. But no, I think this is these are scary, scary times we live in, and yeah, we will keep fighting back, but I think we're losing the battle.
People will understand why I said that this was a great year, and you'll understand it when we view its protagonist. So let's get to the first category.
Wait, before we get to the first category, I want to say some of these categories, much like Nikos' original statement, are things we disagree on, even as categories and certainly as nominees. We will tell you as we go along what those are.
Okay. People, you can vote also on YouTube. The results you'll see there are not the final results, because ARC UK members also voted. So let's see the first category. The first category is, who was the person of the year? Now, we can call it more influential person, the person who left their signature on the year. Doesn't mean it's a good person or a bad person. It means who was the person of the year. And there are four candidates. One, Javier Milei, one option. Why would he be the person of the year? Because he has created all this aura around freedom. He has created this vibe around the ideas of freedom being popular again. We haven't seen this at least since the era of Thatcher and Reagan, an era which I think in retrospect we kind of overplay how popular these ideas are. But now we see again with Milei, freedom is sexy, freedom is again a thing. Second candidate is Benjamin Netanyahu. How couldn't he be? We had all these victories of Israel against Hezbollah, against Iran, against Hamas, the elimination of all these personalities. Now, did this begin with Netanyahu? But we cannot give the result to Mossad people. We don't know who they are, nor should we. Therefore, in the face of Netanyahu, we just symbolize the victories of Israel. Number three, Donald Trump. How can Trump not be in the list? He won the election, the biggest comeback in political history, also survived at least one, maybe two assassination attempts. And number four, Elon Musk. Elon Musk suddenly is not only someone who is a great entrepreneur, suddenly he's very active in politics, he's very active in the battle of ideas out there. For good or for bad, now this depends on the occasion. So my vote will go to, actually let's hear first from Razi. What's your vote, and how did the audience vote?
I don't know. So, I'm responsible for this category in the buck stops here sense, but that's it. This is a Nikos category, which I approved, but I don't know. I mean, it's, yeah, it is basically like the Time Magazine Person of the Year equivalent. It's not our favorite person of the year. It is most influential person of the year. Yeah, I guess, Trump having won, the leader of the world position, basically, it kind of has to go to him. But I can see the argument for Netanyahu. Milei is maybe somebody who, when we look back historically, hopefully, is somebody who, when we look back, will say, "Oh, this was a turning point." People looked at Argentina, but no, we're not there yet with Argentina.
Okay, my vote goes to Netanyahu. The things we saw from Israel this year, 100 years from now, 300 years from now, when they study military history, when they study strategy, these operations will be there in the books. Therefore, he has to take the credit. And with Milei, he is my favorite politician of the year. But again, hopefully, we're going to see way more from Argentina. So he's there as a positive influence. Trump, yes, but Trump is Trump. He's done it before, and this year was special in terms of his victory. First, let's see if he delivers any good results before we give him the title. So the title has to go to Netanyahu because he has actually done things. So how does our audience vote, though, Mr.
Well,
Producer?
we're going to see at the end. By the way, when you vote, you will see the results, but the results you see are the YouTube results as of now. What you don't see is the member results. Members have been voting for around 48 hours, so we have some votes. We're going to tally them all up, and at the end, we're going to find out who won each category. Thank you, Roland, for the super chat. Roland says, Milei all the way. I'm with you if we have to pick, who's your favorite of these four. But yeah, in terms of influence, I disagree.
Yeah, so who is the person who left their mark on 2024? In the future, when we remember 2024, I will remember the rescue operation of Noah and the other hostages. I will remember the beepers. I will remember the night Nasrallah was eliminated. I remember where I was, and it's a night I will remember for many years. Therefore, it has to go to Netanyahu. Okay, second category. Who was the what was the video title of the year? Well, talk about some self-patting in the back. So here are some titles that I don't know who comes up with these titles, but it's probably Razi if I judge from the tone. Palestinians are suffering and it's their fault. It takes a village to hide the hostage. Terrorists lose their balls, leftists lose their minds. The two-state solution, Holocaust by consent. Now, I'm missing a lot of context here, so Razi, I'll leave this to you. I'll leave the ARCUK related stuff to you.
Yeah, so by the way, I see the YouTube results are in for the first category, and there's a tie for first place, but I don't think there's a tie if you tally up the other votes. We'll find out. Yeah, so Palestine, I don't remember.
A tie between whom? Oh, you're going to announce at the end. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, people on YouTube, on the YouTube chat, can see the results, and Milei and Netanyahu both have 34% of the vote. So when we tally up the other results, we'll see who won. Yeah.
Sorry, just to quickly executive jump in. So for the video title of the year, I cannot. There is a character limit, so I cannot put the whole title there. So just to mention again, so people know, and I'll put it in the chat. So the first one is Palestinians are suffering and it's their fault. Second one is it takes a village to hide a hostage. Third one is terrorists lose their balls, leftists lose their minds. And the fourth one is the two-state solution, Holocaust by consent.
Yeah. Now, again, if you ask me what exactly we said on those episodes, at the Christmas party, Daniel told us what the exact number of original videos we had on YouTube this year, and it was north of 800. I don't remember the exact number, so I don't remember the content of each of them. But yeah, the Palestinians are suffering was a general topic about who started this war and who chooses to continue it. Terrorists lose their balls, leftists lose their mind was about the coverage of the pager explosions. What else was there?
It takes a village. This was probably about the hostages being found.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that families, hostages are being held. I assume this was what it's about. The hostages are being held as far as we know, mostly by Palestinian civilians. So when we hear that this is a war between Hamas and Israel, that is not the case. This is a war started by and continued by the Palestinian people, who are divided on some things, united about the cause of exterminating the Jews, with, as far as we can tell, no opposition whatsoever on that point. And what was the other one?
The other one was the two-state solution, Holocaust by consent.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm from the title trying to figure out what it means, but that means that, yeah, if Israel does, as we've seen, every step that Israel has taken towards peace with the Palestinians, towards the creation of a Palestinian state, which in the fantasy is a state that will live side by side in peace and security with Israel. Every such step has resulted in more attacks on Israel, more death of Israelis, and military action has taken us the other way. So perhaps people who don't want the Palestinians to achieve their goal of finishing the job that Hitler started should reconsider whether peace is a possibility.
This is a comment that goes to me, because Razi thinks that I'm of that opinion. Okay, so what's your vote for the title of the year then?
Palestinians are suffering, and it's their fault is my favorite.
But that's not even super imaginative. Come on, it has to be the "It takes a village", because it's also the
Really?
wordplay. Yeah. More imaginative.
I mean, the YouTube audience is pretty overwhelmingly on the side of terrorists lose their balls, leftists lose their mind, which I understand. I did mention on one of the ARCUK UK members' WhatsApp groups a couple days after the pager attacks that we're doing another show on the topic, and I'm going to do my best not to put the word balls in the title, because I think we did that at least twice. But yeah. Titles are important. We try to be entertaining as well as informative with them.
Now, one of the other key persons of the year was Joe Biden. For at least half of the year, people were wondering, is he really in a position to be the president? The answer was given to us by the Democrats themselves. The answer was no. But then we saw another Joe Biden, I think more reinvigorated. There was this very funny visit of Trump in the White House. They both looked happy. They looked like buddies. Now, there were some significant Joe Biden moments that our producer has chosen, from which you can pick the Biden moment of the year. So the first one is,
and we have
finally beat Medicare, which I have no idea what it is about, so we'll find out in a second. Or maybe not.
Yeah, we'll find. Actually, can you talk for a bit more? I want to put out the poll first, and
well,
then...
I can tell you what that was about. That was the debate moment. But do we have the video, and it's just not ready? Is that?
We have all videos. I just want to prepare the poll first so people.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let's go then to a different category, so that which is actually my favorite category. Before we talk again about the titles of episodes and stuff, what was the Israeli operation of the year? And here we have 4 choices. First, the rescue operation of the 4 hostages. Most people know it as the Noah rescue operation, but let's remember there were 3 other hostages. The Nuseirat rescue. Then the pager attack. Then the killing of Haniya. And then the strike on Iran. Now, notice that here we're talking about which was the most impressive operation, not which is the thing that gave us the most joy. Because for me, there's no question the rescue of the hostages was the most joyful event of the year. We're going to also see it in another category. But when it comes to rescue operations, we've seen the Edebe rescue operation. This put the bar so high when it comes to rescue operation. This one is somewhere there, but we've seen this before from Israel. What we've never seen before, though, is an operation like the one of the pagers. Today we saw an interview in the news. We heard stories about how long ago it was prepared. I think we'll never know exactly the true details of the operation, but let's all agree on something. Again, this will be in the history books of the future. I remember reading about studying military strategy. We still hear about this battle 1,000 years ago when the Byzantines used something like, it was called the liquid fire. And it's still today in the history books. In the same way as we wonder, how did they do that with the technology of that time? How did they create this super weapon? I think the future generations will go back to the pages operation and ask the question, how did they manage to pull this off? So for me, we have a clear winner in this category. The pager operation was the operation of the year. Also in terms of when it happened and how it strategically linked to the things that followed, how it strategically linked to the further elimination of the Hezbollah leadership. Because, again, according to something that I've read, who knows if it's true, but it makes sense, because of the pager operation, after that operation, Hezbollah members had to meet mostly in person. And this means it was easier for all the important people to be in the same room, which made it easier for Israel to take them out. Therefore, that's the operation of the year for me. Razi, what about you?
So first of all, there could be more than 4 candidates on this. Israel has done amazing things, mostly from June onwards. And what I loved about the rescue operation of the 4 hostages, of course, the fact that it was successful is great. But what I loved about it is that what we criticize Israel for the most on this channel is the fact that it chooses to protect civilians on the enemy's side over the lives of its own soldiers and over the success of operations. And in this case, they didn't do that. They went in guns a-blazing. They didn't care who was in the way. They were going to kill whoever they had to kill to rescue these hostages. And according to Hamas, the death toll was in the hundreds. I don't know if that's truly the case, but I hope it is. I hope that is the case, because I loved seeing that. I would love to see more of that. But yeah, as you mentioned, and a few things disturb me more than agreeing with Nikos, but I can't disagree here. The pager operation is truly something that, we will be talking about and applauding for many, many years, decades, and generations to come.
My usual discussion, one thing I usually tell Razi is that if the apocalypse comes, he'll be one of the first people to be eliminated, and you just saw why. You cannot have a rescue operation where people are dying left and right. It means that the operation didn't go well. In Edebe, there was the casualties are actually very, very few, because it was so fast that you go in and you go out. You shouldn't wish for many people to, and particularly for random people, to die in a rescue operation, if for no other reason, because then the rescue operation is not gonna be a success.
Well, this was done quickly as well. I mean, it was done quickly on the day. It was planned well in advance, and Israeli undercover soldiers were living in the building next to it for a month. But yeah, on the day, you eliminate whoever needs to be eliminated, and whoever might be just some random person in the way. So yeah, that's what I think about that. Thank you, Roland, for the super chat. Roland says, all are pretty impressive, but you can't beat the pager moment. Absolutely. And I see that the voting also is in agreement. 2/3 of votes went to the pager operation. Okay, do we have the Biden videos ready?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see the Biden moment of the year. We have 4 candidates. The first is that we finally beat Medicare moment. So was this the Biden accidentally libertarian moment? Let's see.
So they're all in one video. It's about a minute, and before each one there is a title, then the video, then next title, next video.
Okay, let's go play, and I'll tell you to pause. So let's play the first one. We finally beat Medicare.
Wait, are we pausing it, or Daniel, was the idea that let's see all categories?
Yeah, let's just see all of them.
Okay, let's see all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
Thank you very, very much.
Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign?
And I made it clear to Israelis, don't move on Haifa. It's just not, I mean, anyway, I just...
So I've never seen the first two. I usually have as a principle.
The first one was in the debate. That was pretty much the moment that cost him his.
Well, I watched the debate, but I didn't notice it. Anyway, my favorite one is the smile. And I've tried to make a GIF out of it. It's available. It's my favorite GIF of the year. I use it to people when they tell me conspiracy theories or very bad football takes. So my vote goes to that. And again, I think that Biden at the end of the year is a more sympathetic figure to me than he was at the beginning of what I thought it would be at the beginning of his presidency. He was okay with Ukraine. He was bad with Israel, but we expected that. But particularly that trip to Kiev with these badass Ray-Ban glasses where he meets with Zelensky, I think that will be the photo that will leave some good, the good legacy, the good part of the legacy of his presidency. Razi, a quick comment about Biden in general, because it's the last year where he was.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Biden some more. We're also, not fans of Trump, but when Trump gets inaugurated, we will have a good riddance party for Biden. He is absolutely worse than I expected him to be, and I didn't have high expectations. I mean, his, specifically his handling of Israel is absolutely atrocious. He has been on the side of the Palestinians, which is amazing considering October 7th and considering his statements right after October 7th. And I'll remind people, I often say to people, go watch the videos we did on October 8th, October 9th, October 10th, and see how much of what we said has happened in how Israel has unfortunately conducted itself and what could have been if Israel had listened to us. The one thing I say that I got wrong is I believed Biden and Blinken when they were making those incredible statements of support, and it turns out that they only support Jews when Jews get slaughtered, and they are on the side of those trying to slaughter Jews when the Jews defend themselves. So Biden absolutely is, in a sense, maybe he should have been a candidate of Person of the Year in the sense of most impact, because he has had the most impact in protecting Hamas and protecting the Palestinian people from being defeated. My moment of the year, Biden moment of the year, is the we finally beat Medicare moment, because I think that has, more than any moment, that is what cost him his place as Democratic nominee, and gave us Kamala, who then was defeated pretty spectacularly. So I think that's one of the moments of the year, and certainly the Biden moment of the year. Let me just quickly thank PC for the super chat. PC says, Razi, poor old Joe, he struggled then, LOL. Yes, normally if an old man is looking like Biden is looking in those videos, I do feel bad. In Biden's case, I don't. It's not like he was a good person before when he was all there. Yeah. And thank you, Bull Moose, for the super chat. Bull Moose says, none of these beat him calling Sisi the president of Mexico. Yeah, well, he's, like I said, like other categories, there could have been many more nominees in this category. But
let me just one quick question. With Biden, did the party turn towards the left or towards centrism or whatever? And the answer is it did not turn on the left. So obviously he was not a great president. But again, remember, or at least I remember myself, what I expected in November of 2020. So from what I expected, he was list of he was not as bad. It's like when you go to the airport and they tell you there's going to be a 3-hour delay and then your airplane leaves at 2 hours. So the final feeling is that, okay, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Well,
on that
as
happy
for
note,
the party turning left, the Democratic nominee in the 2024 presidential election was to the left of the nominee in the 2020 election. So, you know, long term, how do we judge this? We'll see. But you know, just in terms of his immediate impact, it was very, very bad. And yeah, I can't wait to see the day that he's gone. Not that I have great expectations for the next one.
So what was the daily objective of the year? So the producers have chosen 4 episodes. Justice in Beirut, Hassan Nasrallah eliminated. Obviously, this after Nasrallah's killing. Lebanon explodes. I guess that's after the pagers, probably. What UNRWA teachers say when you're not listening. Sinwar dead. So I guess people must have watched these episodes in order to vote which was their favorite. So Razi, you were in these, so you probably know something more.
I wasn't in all of them, but I want to give context for well, at least 2 of them. So the What UNRWA Teachers Say When You're Not Listening episode was, I believe, early January. This was the first time we had Eitan Fischberger on. Eitan was the person who showed those the communication on the UNRWA teachers Telegram group. And what's amazing there is that this was the first YouTube video. He had tweeted about it, and that's when we got in touch with him and asked him to be on. But this was the first time this was discussed on YouTube. And this was the moment that, you know, the ball started rolling against UNRWA. So I'm not going to say we got rid of UNRWA, but we were first, certainly on YouTube, to talk about it. And that was a major moment for us. The video also, by our standards, did very well. I don't remember, is it 70-something thousand? Daniel, I don't know if you remember, but it had a lot of, many tens of thousands of views, which again, is not where we want to be, but it's much higher than, you know, where we were before. I think maybe at the time it was the most watched video on the channel. No longer is.
And, so which one got more views than that?
Well, our most watched video was the one we did after the accident of the Iranian president, which is also that also is in at least one, if not 2 of the categories.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But yeah,
so looks like this was a huge success for the channel. So I think it deserves
one
victory.
One more episode that I really enjoyed being on was Justice in Beirut, Hassan Nasrallah eliminated. I was on that with James Valiant, with Michael Kaufman, Adam Mossoff. This was the second episode of the Daily Objective that day. Daniel and I did an early episode. We figured, you know, this is, you know, Nikos, you and I did an episode on October 7th. I was in the US. It was like 7 a.m. There, and it was, you know, it was outside the usual time of the show, and it was you know, it was a Saturday, which at the time we weren't doing shows. That was the first moment when the show became 7 days a week. But you know, it was a horrible day, and you know, we did a show then, we did a show the following day. We like to do special shows when good things happen as well, and so on that day we did on the Nasrallah day we did 2 shows. That second one was, it went for longer than an hour, and I think we could have gone for a few more hours. We were just having fun. It was a really fun episode to do and hopefully to watch as well. So yeah, and Lebanon Explodes, I believe, is the episode we did a couple of hours after the pagers happened. And Sinwar Dead was an episode that was titled Sinwar Dead ? Because it wasn't confirmed when the episode aired, and then was changed to ! When the confirmation came in.
The confirmation came live on the show.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I was also out of the country at the time, so I wasn't on that show. But
so
yeah.
Speaking of ARC UK, then, who was the guest of the year? Well, I don't think there's much competition here. So Leonard Peikoff was in the channel, but we also had actually you present this because you know the backstory with these people, who they are, how they ended up in the channel. So why don't you take this over, Razi?
Sure. I don't have the list in front of me, but yeah, Leonard Peikoff was on the channel twice. There was a catching up with Leonard Peikoff interview with James Valiant, talking to him about what he's doing nowadays. And then he was on the channel again, talking about the election. And then for members, there was 6 days, I believe, in a row of videos of different people from the channel asking Peikoff a different question about the election. So, you know, as a channel, that was a milestone for us to have Leonard Peikoff on, you know, and so many, relatively so many Peikoff videos. The other candidates, I believe.
So we have Robert Spencer,
yeah, okay,
Eitan
Robert Spencer,
Fitzberger, and Steven Silverman.
Wait, so Robert Spencer from Jihad Watch, yeah, that was a big get for us because he is a big name, and of course, when we talk about Israel, it is in the context of the Muslims surrounding Israel who are you know, have the desire to get rid of that country, and I remember this was around the time that Israel released this phone call between the IDF and somebody whose building they were about to bomb, and the IDF says, you know, get out, and he's like, no, we're not getting out. The IDF says, well, you have kids there, and the guy says, well, I'm happy to die, we're all happy to die, and so on. And I asked him, do you think this will serve the goal that Israel wants it to serve? And he said, absolutely not. This will be counterproductive. It was an interesting, if you haven't seen that, I do encourage people to watch it. Eitan Fitzberger has been on, I believe, 3 times, and again, he was in that that first episode that I've already said a lot about. And Steven Silverman from the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism. This was, I believe, right after. Daniel, you can remind me, but was this after? First of all, the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism does important work here in the UK, and the head of the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism was the guy who was walking through central London, presumably intentionally, during a pro-Hamas protest, and a police officer says to him, "You're quite visibly Jewish," and threatened to arrest him over that, while others around him said, "We're going to follow you," and you know, they were not threatened with arrest. So that was an interesting moment. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Okay, yes, the producer says we need to hurry up. So, thumbnail of the year, producer, are we going to see the thumbnails?
Yes.
Because I already know which I'm voting for there. So the thumbnail of the year is Iranian president meets 72 virgins. It's Palestinians suffer and it's their fault. I think this was in another category. The other one, I'm not sure what this one is with. But hey, my vote goes to the one with Pam from The Office. By the way, I've watched The Office twice. I've never actually seen or noticed this actual meme. I know it from the meme that they're the same picture, but my vote goes.
I think this happened more than once in The Office, if I'm not mistaken. But
what?
Anyway, yeah, there was more than one. It's the same picture. No, people who have watched The Office more carefully than me can tell me.
Maybe. Anyway, so people can vote. Now let's go to an interesting category. What was the elimination of the year? So who is the people who...
We didn't even have the first vote.
Wait, yeah, we haven't posted that yet. So let me just quickly, Mark asks James Valiant, if you mean for guest of the year, he's not a guest. So the guests were basically people who are not regulars on the channel. Nikos, you've been on the channel so few times this year. You might next year be in the category of guest, but yeah, we'll talk about that off the air and see if we can get you on a bit more.
No, I never accept that guest. No.
I'm kidding.
Okay,
but yeah, we will.
Elimination of the year. Next year. So many bad people left us this year. Nasrallah, Haniya, Sinvar, Mohammed Deif. Now, for me, how do you answer this question? It's very simple. In some years from now, for which of these two would you say, I remember where I was, I remember what I was doing? And for me, it was Nasrallah and Sinwar. But particularly with Nasrallah, it was a night where we thought something significant was happening. There was a vibe shift. I remember at that point, many people thought, okay, now then who's next? The Ayatollahs in Iran are next. So for me, the vote goes to Nasrallah. Also, Sinwar, was he that strategically important these days? So as an act of poetic justice, it has to be Sinwar, but more strategically in the region and in terms of significance and what was the sense in the atmosphere, it has to be Nasrallah. What about you, Razi?
First of all, thank you, Jonathan, for the super chat. And Susie says, if Mark Pellegrino was on the list, he'd be my pick for guest of the year. Mark is also absolutely a co-host. He is in a different category, which we'll get to soon. But yeah, elimination of the year is a tough one because so many of them deserve an award. You know, none of the ones who don't win an award are like, you know, get a participation award. They're all amazing. You know, the fact that we talk about the elimination of Sinwar as, you know, this is not the one shows you how amazing all this is. So Nasrallah doesn't even, I don't think I need to add anything on it because we've talked about it so much, but that one is obvious. And if it isn't, go back and watch some of the shows we did about it. Hania, another person who has deserved to die for decades, but the fact that he was eliminated in Tehran was such a huge statement on top of serving its own purpose. Mohammed Deif, as I've said on the shows that we did after he was eliminated, I have more than 20 years of experience of Mohammed Deif assassinations where I heard, oh, he's definitely dead and so on, and he never died, which of course helped raise his profile in, you know, a culture that's already super mystical. If you survive assassination attempts so many times, you are already clearly elevated to hero status. So yeah, they're all very, very good. I do think Nasrallah wins it for me as well.
Nasrallah wins it. Next category, my favorite one, intellectual raspberry of the year. Now, who is the person who deserves the most scorn, the most booing for 2024? Candace Owens, Owen Jones, Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk. Elon Musk, because again, we said he has his good stuff about eliminating bureaucracy, his vision about technological progress and all that. But also these tweets, like, oh, there's like an intellectual degenerate, and Elon quotes, interesting. Like what? Anyway, for me, Candace Owens does not take the prize, because it's almost become sad. It's like Candace has discovered Googling. She Googles some stuff that everyone knows except from her. She thinks she has discovered something brilliant. Then she's not even that good in Googling. She's not even that good in visiting Wikipedia, if you watch the episode she did on the Bolsheviks. And I think she's at the point where someone who loves her needs to tell her, hey, you know, that I need to take your microphone away. Having said that, or at least she was at some point in the top 5 most popular podcast. So maybe I'm undermining her impact. But the title goes to Tucker Carlson. He's the one with the big audience, and he's the one who, in a very insidious way, poisons, let's say, the intellectual atmosphere. Because it's like, oh, we're just having an interesting discussion here. And he brings that guy who tells you that Churchill was the real villain in World War II. Or he brings Jeffrey Sachs, a wannabe central planner, a wannabe, someone who, first time I heard of Sachs is when I was studying sustainable development, this anti-growth concept. So he brings someone who, probably his position would be somewhere in the central committee of a communist party back in the day in the Warsaw Pact. And again, he brings him as a countercultural voice. So it's Tucker Carlson for me because he has the minds. He's clearly a clever guy, which you cannot say about Candace. And he's just grifting, I think. I cannot believe that someone with his intelligence and his IQ is actually believing these things. So I'm not sure what he's up to. But whatever it is, I think he deserves 100% the biggest, the loudest intellectual scorn for 2024.
Thank you, Jonathan, for 2 super chats, and thank you, Christopher, for the super chat. Nikos, you remember Milo, right? Milo started off,
I've actually seen him. I've seen him in real life innumerable years ago before he was actually the Milo that people later got to
the
know.
Milo that people later got to know was also, there were stages of getting to know Milo. There was the feminism is cancer, Black Lives Matter are racist, all that stuff. And then he kind of expressed his views on, not what he's against, but what he's for. And then we kind of saw that he's not a good guy. And then it kept getting worse. And then at some point he kind of praised a relationship he had with an older man when he was a kid. And that was kind of the end. Although we have heard since that he's, been cured of homosexuality and all this. So he's trying to come back to relevancy, but he lost his audience pretty much. He is not prominent anymore. Candace has been stepping it up this year with, Jews killed Kennedy. Mossad was on the ground on 9/11, whatever that meant. Daniel, some of these jokes that you sent us on the Zoom chat should go on the regular chat.
No, it's not a joke. He has said that. He has actually.
Yes,
Milo
but not
has,
in those
has
words.
said
This is a Candace related. This is anyway. So the worse Candace gets, because what she's saying is about Jews, the bigger her audience gets, and you see this with her celebrating winning Anti-Semite of the Year. I mean, for her, that's a good thing, and I don't know where this is going. Yesterday I saw on X somebody post a picture of Candace with her husband and her kids, saying that her husband ruined his bloodline, obviously because he married a black woman and, they're not pure. So some of the audience she's trying to appeal to, isn't going to be okay with her no matter what she says about Jews, because she's also from a group that they don't like. But yeah, for me, the winner is Candace.
Okay. Well, again, but it also has to do with who says something. And I think no one works as hard as Candace to completely delegitimize whatever she says. Okay, let's go to the positive. Public Intellectual of the Year. We've got Barry Weiss, her brave work with Free Press. Douglas Murray, Mossab Hassan Youssef. For me, he's the bravest guy of the year. I saw the video where he walks and there's this person who follows him and berates him. And I realized this guy hasn't got security, like the balls that this guy has. And then we also have Natasha Hosdorf. Look, respect so much. To be honest, do you want to tell us something about Natasha? I don't really know much about her.
Yeah, is it Lawyers for Israel? Her group, I think, is what it's called. But yeah, she is she appears in the media. Maybe UK Lawyers for Israel. Anyway, she appears in the media frequently. She was in that debate, which in the Oxford debate, which we've covered, and I've said, I disagree with the people who chose to participate in that debate. But she's one of the better advocates for Israel, and that's a pretty tall order. I mean, so many people who are pro-Israel it's difficult for them, especially if they want to be on mainstream media, because the bias is already there and it's very, very anti-Israel. So being able to do that, I think she deserves our applause and our respect, as do all of the candidates. My vote goes to Barry Weiss, but I'm a fan of all 4.
My vote goes to Douglas Murray because he's what can you say? It's like watching LeBron James play basketball. He does everything in such a higher level. The way he talks, the way he writes, the way he debates, the way he frames a discussion, the accent. Everything is there. But again, this is a category of this is what's the opposite of walk of shame? The walk of praise. Yes.
Okay, I know we have many more categories to go through, but we also
not that many. Don't scare people off.
As it is December, and it is the reality show in the month of December. Every episode of the reality show is a sponsored episode. Sponsored by Jim Brown and his new book, A Black Hole in Economics, Money Creation and Its Consequences. The book serves as an informative and accessible exploration of a topic that is often overlooked by the American public. Jim clarifies, this is from a review, I believe, of the book. Jim clarifies in simple language the true source of money creation. Hint, it's not fractional reserve banking, and reveals how government actions have increasingly distorted this process to finance its unsustainable obligations, leading to inflation. He compellingly argues that we are facing a long period of financial repression, regardless of the next administration's political affiliation. Yes, this book was written before the election. The book concludes with practical advice on safeguarding ourselves against the impact of inflation and low economic growth. It is essential reading for anyone concerned with both our countries and their personal financial future. Absolutely. So make sure you get a copy of that. A link is in the description and in the live chat. And of course, all royalties from sales of that book go to the Ayn Rand Centre UK. So you are also supporting our work by purchasing a copy of that book. Christian Klein is also supporting our work with a super chat. Thank you, Christian. Christian says, we had a fire in our residential building. I feel sad that a family has lost their flat, but I'm happy that all others, including my own flat, are fine. Big thanks to the firemen. Great award show. Thank you. And thank you, Jonathan, for the super chat. Jonathan says, Jim's book is great. Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you, Jonathan. Merry Christmas to you. I believe you're on the Christmas Day episode, so we're going to see you on Christmas. Yeah, Nikos.
So we talk about the public intellectual of the year. Who are the future hopes? Who are our hopes for the future? Who is the new entry of the year? We have Alex. We have Chris Hatton.
Wait. New entry of the year is new entry on ARCUK UK. That's an important. This is an ARCUK UK category. So this is from people who are new to the channel. Who is your favorite of them? And yeah,
Alex, Chris, Michael, and Jonathan. Now, I'm partial here. My vote obviously goes to Jonathan. Actually, I would vote him not only for new entry of the year. I think he's an asset for the movement, and you can see his work by the fact of how we are reaching areas we didn't reach before, how we have more activists in Europe, outside of Europe. We were in Australia 2 weeks ago. This is based on his work. So thumbs up for Jonathan.
Okay, so first of all, Chris is Chris Hatting from South Africa. We first had him on one of the first episodes we did about South Africa early on when they filed their lawsuit against Israel. Michael is Michael Kaufman, who's been a regular on the reality show. Jonathan Daon has also been a regular on the reality show. And Alex has also been a regular on the reality show. She joined a bit later. Of course, I'm not going to say who I'm voting for because, you know, as the producer, this is the point I'll make here is how proud I am of our work also in finding voices within the objectivist movement that you're not going to hear anywhere else and that you should hear. So this is, I consider this category something that we should pat ourselves on the back for more than anything else. Yeah, you will find people here that you won't find anywhere else. And
I'm obviously biased. I don't know these people very well. Actually, I don't know these people at all, but I spent all this time with Jonathan on the road. So my vote is biased. Okay,
and
next
you should
category.
Watch the channel more and get to know all of them more. Thank you, Robert, for the super chat. Robert says Jonathan Honig's books are pretty damn good too. Absolutely, they are. And
I can see Jonathan's book over there. Primary Price is Primary, and the other one on Americanism. Okay. Now, who is the best objectivist on Twitter? It could be Adam Ossoff with his... How difficult is it is to create something like a meme, something that sticks to your mind and you want to repeat it. And yet Adam has managed to do it with his trope. If you wonder what you would be doing in 1938 Munich, you're doing it now. So the strong, very, 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 also very brave presence on Twitter. Then we've got Mark Pellegrino. He has this huge audience and he's very active all the time. Then we got myself. If you vote for me, you would be actually, how to put it, you'd be rewarding consistency, because this year I tried to tweet every single day. And we've got Kirk, who was the first objectivist who was, at least with an audience, at least someone I followed, he was the first objectivist who was actually fun on Twitter. People, it's important to understand also the culture of the social medium and to have also a bit of entertaining value. So Kirk is producing serious content. He's tweeting serious stuff, but also he gets the memes. He has this don't make me tap the sign, capitalism versus socialism is not about economics, it's about morality. So he has also managed to create this meme-worthy material. So I think this is a very strong competition. I don't know who to vote. All these four could actually win. Razi, who do you vote? You're not too much on Twitter, though, I have to say. You only comment on once every 10 months that I might write something which is not absolutely brilliant. That's when I only hear from you.
What are you talking about? I'm on Twitter every day. I probably tweeted or retweeted like 5 times in the last 24 hours. I'm on Twitter a lot. You just don't pay attention. But
no, the algorithm doesn't show you. I don't know why. I don't know.
Well,
I'm always in for you, not in the following, and I barely see you. And you never like or retweet my tweet, so that's another reason why the algorithm probably has picked up that you don't like.
But sometimes I reply to you and express my disagreement. So yeah, look out for that. But yeah, I agree. All four, could win the award, and all four, of course, are on the channel. So I'm a fan.
That's true. That's true. All four are on the channel. Yeah.
Considering where we are in world affairs this year, and the focus of different people on Twitter, my vote goes to Adam Mossoff just because of what he has done in the past year. Thank you, Robert, for the super chat. Robert says, also totally agree regarding Jonathan Daon, A+. Thank you, Jonathan, for the super chat. Jonathan says, thank you, Robert. Enjoyed your show with Amy. Merry Christmas. Thank you, PC, for the super chat. PC says, Razi, I love this channel. It's great. I found you soon after October 7th. Was looking for unbiased news. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your ongoing support. I wouldn't call us unbiased, but we don't pretend that we are not taking a side here, and that's where we differ. Owen Jones tells us that he's an investigative journalist. We are not. We're commentators, and yeah, I think our commentary is not unbiased, but it is objective.
Also, 2 random comments. Number 1, I had the dream of Raka last night, so it's probably I was remembering of the old days of the channel. Number 2,
remember,
if there was a category,
this is a family show. If you're going to tell us the details of the dream, but
no, it was family friendly. And second, if there was a category of best, most well-dressed objectivist, Jonathan would also win. I would never expect that there would be a day that I wouldn't claim that title, but that day has come. I remembered Raka because well-dressed. Then I remember that episode we did where we said if we get to 500 subscribers or something, we're gonna show up with leather jacket. Was it 500 or 1,000 subscribers?
I think it was 1,000, and for him it was a pink fedora, right?
Oh yeah. Those were the days. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I think we were going to do a comeback of the year topic, but Raka, did we have that last year? And Raka won it, and I think Raka would win it this year as well. He joined me for the episode on October 7th this year, so he was on the channel for one show. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Reality show of the year. I will leave this to you because again, I've no idea on which this episode was, because I watched one, Debunk, Candace Owen and the USS Liberty conspiracy theory. I vote that one because that's the one I watched.
Yeah, what are the candidates?
The Palestinian people are Hamas. The Palestinian people support October 7th, debunking the most popular pro-Palestinian lies.
This is for best episode of the reality show.
I assume. Well, you came up with this category.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have to decide, right? But
Okay.
yeah, people who want to vote have to decide. But I do want to thank Alex for the super chat. Alex says, Nikos, wash your mouth out. Well, he hasn't said what he's thinking yet. So yeah, I don't know if that's...
Wash my mouth out for what exactly?
I don't know. Maybe she's upset that you didn't vote for her in the best. Actually, we don't know what you voted in the...
Well, imagine, Alex, if I voted for you, and then I would have to be in a car for 3 hours with Jonathan, particularly when he's driving, and then having to explain to him why I didn't vote for him. But I've heard good things for you. Actually, I think from Jonathan. I'm not even...
Also,
I'm not
Alex
even sure.
mentions that she is the best dressed. She wins the best dressed category, so there's a disagreement there. But yeah, anyway.
Okay, let's say there's a male and a female category. We can sort it out. Okay, last two categories. You don't want to miss them. Who was the Objectivist of the year? Yaron, Adam Ossoff, or Alex Epstein? Now, the case for each one of them. Well, Yaron, I think every year it becomes even more impressive, the amount of content he puts out, but also the quality. And again, whenever I try to figure out how can I get condensed information about something, and I know that it's good, he's my first choice. Adam Ossoff, again, he's created a lot of, he has a presence on social media. People remember this guy works in a university. It's one thing to be, it's difficult to be a brave voice on social media. Imagine if you do this while being an academic. So hats off to Adam. And the third is Alex Epstein. And I think it's public, it's not even a secret, that he has had a big impact and a big influence on how the climate campaign has changed, the energy campaign has changed, and that he has had quite an impact on people who are, let's say, influential in what is actually going to be the energy policy. So for that, I don't even know how to vote on this one.
Yeah, this
So
is
I'll
a
just
tough
leave
one.
it.
This is a tough one with all three of them. So Adam, the Middle East conflict is not his subject.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He has very much made it his subject and has had an impact there. So his being included in the candidates here is, I think, was an obvious choice. Yaron, do you remember the 1992-93 season of the Israeli Basketball League, Nikos?
Not
This was
no,
the
but
year...
I know who won. Maccabi.
No, Galil Elyon won the championship that season after Maccabi had won 23 seasons in a row.
Oh,
and
yeah.
after
You're right.
this season,
Maccabi was
won
in the
15
EuroLeague
in a
in
row.
93, but didn't win. Yeah.
So out of 39 years, this was the one year that Galil Elyon stunned the world, or at least the people in the world who follow Israeli basketball. Yaron is, to the Objectivist movement what Maccabi is to Israeli basketball. I mean, he is obviously, if there's in any sense a leader of the movement, it is obviously Yaron. He is the person who gets new people into Objectivism more than anyone else without any competition. But this year, my vote goes to Alex Epstein. I mean, look, the incoming administration, there's some good, there's a lot of bad, but a lot of the good is when it comes to what we can expect to be their energy policy. And Alex actually has impact on that. I mean, this is an Objectivist who chose, his niche and has done such amazing things in his niche that he is having an impact on the policy of the most important country in the world when it comes to that policy. So
and the fact that in Objectivism there is a phrase that, like, the next Alex Epstein. What do you do to become the next Alex Epstein? This says it all. One thing about Yaron, like, this is me. Don't quote me on this. This is just personal opinion. Isn't Yaron the third most important person in the history of Objectivism? Think about it. Obviously, Ayn Rand number one, obviously Peikoff number two. I was thinking the other day, because I was trying to think the top five, and I was thinking, man, Yaron is number three. He has to be, right? In terms of, like, opening the movement more to the masses, attracting my generation of people, the younger generation of people. So we're talking here with someone who, I mean, this term is overused. He's actually a legend in the movement. So I don't know if people can think of someone else for number three, but for me, the obvious option The only option that came to mind just like that is, man, it's Yaron.
Yeah, I don't know about the ranking. I mean, Harry Binswanger, you know, could be argued, but in terms of impact, again, impact today in getting new people into objectivism, there is nobody. And again, and there's nobody who even comes close. So yeah, Yaron is almost to the point that we you know, wondered, should there be such a category even, considering that Yaron is
Harry is on my top 5, by the way. Who is the fourth? I will leave it for a very expensive super chat. Okay.
We have a super chat, which is not very expensive, but the third super chat today by Robert Naser. Thank you for another super chat. Robert says, a huge Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year to the Ayn Rand Centre UK, the Lord Emperor, staff, presenters, and listeners alike. Thank you. I haven't been called the Lord Emperor since Rucka left a couple years ago, but thanks.
That's, yeah, I hadn't heard that phrase for some. Okay, last category. Happiest event of the year. The rescue operation of the 4 hostages. Argentina's success. Kamala Harris losing the election. The fall of Assad. Look. Okay, Kamala Harris losing the election, that was fun. I'm going to lie to you if I don't tell you that the morning after I didn't have a green, but come on, it's not the happiest event of the year. Argentina's success, it's brilliant, but it's not one moment. It's difficult to... The fall of Assad, very important, but let's see how it goes. It has to be, for me, the rescue operation. And I will just tell you which were the lines that mostly, like the most memorable lines for me throughout the year 2024. The lines that had the biggest emotional impact. Remember that video when in all the chaos, the soldiers get in the room and there's the bam, 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 and there are 2 hostages who are very, very scared, very, very scared. You can see there's like half a glimpse of hope, but mostly it's fear. And then the soldier says, all in Hebrew, all will be fine. We came to save you. Stay calm. And you see the guy is calming down. And then the soldier gives him this very light fist bump, and the hostage gives him the fist bump. And first of all, when I watched it, I had the, how you call it, your hair goes up, goosebumps. And I was thinking, like, what type of person do you have to be? How to carry yourself? What type of virtues you must have created so that in that moment, you are that situation, the situation of chaos, in the situation of war, and you say these words, all will be okay, don't worry. And you're like in the middle of Gaza. And the guy believes you. And the guy is like, yeah, you're right. And he gives you that fist bump. So it was the day I don't think I've ever actually been emotional about something so much as I was on that day. I remember also, it was, I think, in 2011. Remember when some Chilean miners were rescued? They were like under the earth and they were rescued. For me, these were the 2 best public events, let's say, that I've ever seen. And they are also events that I think, if you don't feel something very deep inside you, there's something seriously wrong with you. So for me, the event of the year is the release of the rescue and the line of the year. All will be fine. We came to save you. Stay calm. And that fist bump. For me, that was the moment of the year. And on that happy note, I will finish.
Yeah. Just hearing you describe it gets me emotional. And yeah, it's absolutely emotionally. There's nothing that I think came near to that moment. It was absolutely amazing. But it doesn't get my vote. And because what I'm thinking is in the long run, you know, Donald Trump is you know, despises the idea of truth. And yet one thing he said, certainly not in order to tell the truth, but just to get votes, is that if Harris wins, Israel might not be around in 4 years. And that happens to be the case. So as much as I despise him, for me, the happiest moment of the year is the fact that we are not going to have to see whether Israel can survive 4 years of Kamala Harris. So yeah, that wins it for me. Thank you, PC, for the super chat. PC says, off topic, but Palestinians are suing BP, as in British Petroleum. Is that why? Okay, that's a topic for another day. Thank you, Roland, for the super chat. Roland says, "Merry Christmas to the Lord Emperor." I appreciate the super chat. I don't know if I want to bring that title back, but we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, we have one split vote, says the producer.
Wait, we're gonna get to that when we get to the.
Oh, okay.
Are we done with all the categories?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do you want to start, Daniel, with letting us know where we have a split vote?
So elimination of the year is a split between Hassan Nasrallah and Yahya Sinwar.
Executive decision.
No
it's
executive
Nasrallah.
decision.
Thank
We
you
can
very
have
much.
a vote between the two of them, and we can announce the other winners while people vote on those two.
Okay, so what are the other winners? First category. So we just hear the results and then we call it a day. So most influential person of the year, who won?
I sent you the thing, or do you want me to read it out?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah, wait,
yeah.
I have the results. I have the results. The most influential person of the year, Javier Milei, won it by almost 40%. Video title of the year, terrorists lose their boards, leftists lose their minds. Biden moment of the year, come on, people, you have no soul. We finally beat Medicare. It had to be the green. Anyway, daily objective of the year, what UNRWA teachers say when you're not listening. This is with Pam, right? Oh, no, that's the other one. Okay.
No, yeah.
Israeli operation of the year, the pager attack, ARC UK guest of the year. Okay, obviously, Dr. Peikoff. Thumbnail of the year.
Wait. I can't pay attention that quickly. Can you go back to the last two?
Okay. Israeli operation of the year, the pager attack won almost unanimously, 78%. Guest of the year, obviously, Leonard Peikoff won with more than 75%. Thumbnail of the year, Iranian president meets 72 virgins with 46%. I don't know how you didn't vote for Pam, but anyway. Elimination of the year, it's split.
Did you see the thumbnail? Wait, did you see the thumbnail for the Iranian?
Oh, it's the one where he's all on the bomb.
No, it's the one where he arrives in heaven, and then
I saw that.
There
okay,
are
yeah,
the
that
dudes
was
with the laptops, and then he says, "Wait, what?" Yeah, this one.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was right. But I liked also the other one where he's on the rocket. Now, okay, give me a second because I've lost the results. Elimination of the year, again, it's split with 45% between Nasrallah and Sinwar.
And well, no, in the runoff, we have 26 votes. We have 67 people watching live now, so some people haven't voted. It's 54 to 46 for Sinwar. It's still close, so people can still vote, Daniel?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we'll end with that. Intellectual Raspberry of the year, Tucker Carlson, but only with 40%, which means probably many people also voted for Candace. Public Intellectual of the Year, Douglas Murray, only with 38%, so people appreciate the works of others. New Entry of the Year, here you are, Alex, you won by 50%. So, Objectivist on Twitter of the Year, Mark Pellegrino. So another year I don't win the Objectivist of the Year on Twitter.
Who won
Reality Show of the Year, the Palestinian
wait.
people.
Who won the Twitter award last year?
I can check.
Kurt won 2 years ago. But yeah, I'm not sure who won last year. And while we check, let me just thank Equal to Reality for the super chat. Equal to Reality says, "Merry Christmas to the Lord Emperor Razi." I mean, look, if the way it comes back is via super chat, I might be able to live with that.
Greed is good, people. The Reality Show of the Year, Palestinian people are Hamas with 45%. Objectivist of the Year, Yaron wins.
Best Objectivist on Twitter for 2023 was Mark Pellegrino.
Oh, wow. All right. Defending his title.
Seasons.
I think that's,
I'm like Liverpool chasing Manchester City. Let's see if at any point I'm gonna win.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a nice thing to say to compare anybody to Manchester City.
Come on, it's Pep Guardiola. It doesn't. It's a compliment.
Well, yeah, it's also Haaland who,
and also Abu Dhabi. But anyway, Objectivist of the Year, Yaron Brook with 50%, and Happiest Event of the Year. Here agreed it's a rescue operation of the 4 hostages with 44% though. So maybe some people thought that the Schadenfreude they experienced on the morning of the, I think, 7th of November eclipsed even this. Anyway.
With 30 votes, Nasrallah and Sinwar are at 50-50, people. So yeah, and there are more than double people watching live than people who have voted. You still have time to vote for your favorite or favorite elimination. Is it Nasrallah? Is it Sinwar? Yeah, you know, this is we're running out of time, people. Vote quickly or yeah.
But also this shows what a year it's been, right? So to end on where I started, what a year it's been. 1989, again, we remember it as the year the wall fell. This year will go down to the history books, and it will down to the history books for mostly good reasons. It started with, I mean, it didn't start. It followed up for a dark and horrible year. But also think of other things. DI in retreat, wokeness in retreat. Many people talk about the problem of what's happening in Europe. We have a big percentage of people who are completely hostile to our values. These discussions did not take place in previous years. So I think 2020 we have the prospect of eliminating bureaucracy and eliminating the economic regulations in the US. I mean, let's take these wins, right? In the big picture, they're not as we would want them to be. Milei has weaknesses, but again, big picture, as Joe Biden said to Netanyahu, take the win, man. So that's my final message for 2024.
Alex said,
final words.
Alex says in the chat, I have to say, Alex, this is the worst acceptance speech for an award in history. The only reason people voted for me is because it's a shock when you see a pink-haired woman who isn't a crazy environmental scientist, Hamas-loving psychopath. No, I think people voted for you for other reasons as well. And yeah, so thank you, PC, for another super chat. PC says, Razi, I laughed for 10 minutes nonstop when I heard Nasrallah had departed this world. Yeah, it was a very happy moment. And I remember we were on the show the day before when the rumors came in, and I kind of said, look, we'll believe it when we see it. And because this guy had avoided death for a very, very long time, which is also the reason why after 32 votes, I didn't have to make an executive decision and decide between the two of them who is the winner, because the winner is Hassan Nasrallah with 54% of the vote. 45 goes to Sinwar. So YouTube has lost 1% of the vote. I guess it's invalid ballots or something. But anyway.
Anyway, that's been the episode. Always appreciation. ARCUK UK, where it all started. And I'll see you all next year. Thank you very much for your time.
We are back. We are continuing to do shows throughout Christmas and New Year's. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, I will be joined by Alex to finally do the episode that we were going to do yesterday about Israel's anti-Israel media. And then on the reality show, we will continue the topic that we did today on the Daily Objective, Owen Jones's investigative journalism piece into the BBC's pro-Israel bias, according to him. And we're going to talk, we talked about the video that he did on the Daily Objective. On the reality show tomorrow, we're going to go through the written piece in Drop Site News, and we're going to tell you what exactly Drop Site News is, so you understand why this was published there and not in, for example, The Guardian, where Owen Jones usually publishes his stuff. This was too far out there for The Guardian. Thanks, Robert, for a last-minute super chat. Thanks, Nikos, for joining us for this show. Thanks, everybody, for watching, for voting, and we'll see you tomorrow.